let me just sort of give you guys a quick overview about what we've tried to sort of put together for all of the members to access, basically, to enhance your ability to collect the money that you're owed for the services you provide. So our mission here is to empower our members with advanced reimbursement strategies to enhance monetary collections in their practices and ambulatory surgery centers via a 3-phase program. All right, this is to educate our doctors and their billing staff about the anatomy of ERISA plans, which Raj will be talking about in a little bit. Forearm our offices on the front end with robust policies, guidelines that prepare you for all the levels of appeals that you'll need, all the way up to litigation if need be. And ensure that we're collecting the proper forms and documentations up front, and that's important. Taking more of the appeals process into your own hands. And this means that so much of what you do, you know how to do up to a point, and then you get frustrated, and then you say, I don't know what's going on. We haven't gotten paid on this particular claim. We've appealed. We think we've exhausted our ability to appeal. Now we're going to hand the case over to a law firm that might take a significant portion of that money, and they may be very successful in collecting. What we're trying to do is say, well, you may actually be able to learn some of the strategies from Avime and Dan Fryers as part of this are turning to take some of this into your own hands, run that ball further down the field. And yes, you may run into roadblocks in certain cases, but for a lot of cases, you may be able to be educated about how to make this, to take basically the full amount because you were able to sort of bill in a more sophisticated manner. And when that progress does stop, it is important to be able to engage one of the country's leading ERISA experts in terms of Avime, Mark and Vince, and also a premier healthcare law firm like Fryer Levitt to get your unpaid and low-paid claims to the finish line. And Dan Fryer, obviously, the co-founder and partner, founding partner of the Fryer and Levitt, is the person who will be the point person on all this. Avime, again, is a leading healthcare reimbursement recovery consulting firm. They're not lawyers, but they're experts. They're experts at figuring out how you get paid. What are the strategies that the insurance companies are using, and in turn, how can you then use that and use our rights as providers, and how can they help you use all the rights provided to you that you may not even know existed. They have over 15 years of experience in the field of healthcare claims reimbursements. And Fryer Levitt, as I mentioned, is a healthcare law firm, and Dan Fryer. So phase one, brief overview. The idea here is out-of-network practice review and provider education. So what we're trying to do is a comprehensive practice review and consultation at a discounted rate to our members. So as a member, you will get preferred status. You will get preferred rates, and to engage these guys and to get your practice sort of assessed. Are you doing everything perfectly? Great. Have a nice day. Thank you. You're doing a great job. Or you're doing a really good job, but maybe you can do 1, 2, or 3 things better, or completely differently, or maybe you're doing something completely wrong. So it's important to have that assessment. Ensuring that our compliance with the industry best practices for out-of-network billing, and implementing an out-of-network healthcare reimbursement compliance program. That's once you've been assessed, and it's about building back up to a sort of a robust backbone that you can then use later on when things get hairy. That particular program, the OHR, which is basically identifying the deficiency or vulnerabilities in your reimbursement process due to missing or incomplete documentation or data. Assessing and helping to implement compliance policies and best practice guidelines for critical issues, such as collecting patients' out-of-pocket liabilities. Well, do you need to collect on every single deductible and co-insurance to the dollar? Or do you not do that, and are you vulnerable, or should you have policies already in place that sort of at least protect you to some extent to say that, well, if someone ever comes after me and says, well, you didn't collect all the deductible, doc, you're going to be in big trouble. Well, no, we have a policy in place. Here's our policy XYZ based on some precedent in both the state and federal levels. And then physician-owned entities and patient referrals and sort of policies related to that. Evaluating out-of-network referral disclosure requirements, reviewing suicide versus complete assignments of benefits. I have no idea what that is, but these guys will talk about that. And creating compliant education outreach campaigns through patient advocacy, transparency, and compliance. So phase 2. Now this is when you've done the procedure, you build, now you're getting denials. Okay, now the game starts. So you have, you're armed with information, the proper documentation up front, you've done everything properly. Now it's time to get in the game here and make sure that you're appealing properly. And this is the phase 2 is where these guys can be extremely helpful in educating the billing staff. And even the doctors need to be involved with this because they have to understand how this evolves. It's very important. And what's going to be important is knowing not only that you should appeal, but how do you appeal, the timing of your appeals, who do you appeal to, and what are your rights regarding those appeals. Okay, so that's very important. And so just because you appeal doesn't mean you appeal correctly. And it's important also to know that not only should you be appealing in ERISA cases, you shouldn't be just appealing to the third-party administrator like Aetna or Blue Cross, but you should also be engaging the plan sponsors. And that's again what these guys are all about. And we will be again providing these services as a membership benefit. Let's see. These are some of the basic stuff that, again, in phase 2, you have to understand to even be in the game at this level. So interpreting EOBs and ERA 835s. My own billing company, frankly, is working at getting on top of these 835s. I mean, this is something that I'm learning about and they're learning about, but we all need to know this stuff. To know really where all the information is coming from, it's this EDI, which I know Raj is going to talk about in a little bit. The 835 is basically the information coming back from everyone, from the third-party administrator, which is the information that the EOB is based upon. But the EOB is just sort of like looking in a house through one of the windows. You're not seeing the whole house, but just seeing it through one of the windows. The 835 is the whole house, and that's the information that you have to have in order to be maximally effective. Challenging and potentially overturning overpayment, refund demands, and offsets. So all these different things are things that I know you guys are dealing with out there on a day-to-day basis. And challenging and potentially overturning fake PPO or negotiated discount denials. And that's it. And then phase 3. Phase 3 is when everything's been done properly, you've appealed everything properly, and that's it. It's time now that they have not done the right thing as a payer, and you need to engage a law firm to initiate either arbitration or litigation. And that's really where you need to have that a valid assignment of benefits with the patient. NJDP members will enjoy the added benefit of having that streamlined, cost-effective process with this service. And each payment dispute may be different depending on the factual disposition of the case at the administrative level. So really, again, it all comes back to what you started with. When that patient first came in, what documentation did you have lined up properly? And did you have it lined up properly? And that's basically it. I don't want to take any more of your time because I'm not the expert here. I'm just sort of introducing these guys. But I think Raj is going to do a great job explaining this a little bit further. So.